In the quiet, mist-covered village of Lumina, nestled at the edge of the enchanted forest, a miracle was about to unfold. The villagers, simple folk with a deep reverence for the mystical energies surrounding them, sensed a change in the air. It was the night of the winter solstice, a time when the veil between the mundane and the magical was at its thinnest. In a modest cottage, Elena clutched her husband's hand as waves of pain surged through her. The midwife, an elderly woman with a gentle touch and a calming presence, offered soothing words as she prepared for the birth. Elena's husband, Marcus, whispered words of encouragement, his face etched with concern and anticipation. Hours passed, and finally, a cry pierced the stillness of the night. The midwife held up a tiny, wriggling baby, and gasps filled the room. The child, a girl with bright, curious eyes, had 4 delicate hands. Elena and Marcus exchanged bewildered glances, a mix of wonder and apprehension on their faces. "She is blessed," the midwife said softly, her eyes filled with awe, "a child of prophecy." The villagers, too, were captivated by the news of Arya's birth. Whispers spread like wildfire, some filled with excitement, others with fear. They knew of the ancient prophecy that spoke of a child born with 4 hands who would bring balance to Eldoria, but the reality of it was hard to grasp. As Arya grew, so did her powers. By the age of 5, she could make flowers bloom with a touch, summon gentle breezes to dry the laundry, and heal small wounds with a mere brush of her fingers. Her parents loved her fiercely, protecting her from the harsher judgments of the villagers. Yet, despite their efforts, Arya often felt the sting of being different. Her younger brother, Theo, was her constant companion. With his infectious laughter and boundless energy, he brought light into Arya's world. Together, they explored the enchanted forest, discovering hidden glades and secret streams, their bond growing stronger with each adventure. One sunny afternoon, as they played near the edge of the forest, a stranger appeared. Clad in flowing robes that shimmered like starlight, she introduced herself as Seraphina, a sorceress of great renown. She had heard of Arya's unique gifts and had come to offer her guidance. "Arya," Seraphina said, her voice melodic and soothing, "you have a destiny far greater than this village. Will you let me teach you the ways of magic and help you fulfill your potential?" Arya looked at Theo, who nodded encouragingly, and then at her parents, who, despite their fears, saw the hope in Seraphina's eyes. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, Arya agreed. And so, under Seraphina's tutelage, Arya began to unlock the true extent of her powers. She learned to control the elements, communicate with magical creatures, and weave spells that left even the most seasoned sorcerers in awe. But with great power came great responsibility, and Arya soon realized that her journey was just beginning. Her path would be fraught with challenges, betrayals, and heartache, but also with friendship, love, and triumph. The prophecy had set her on a course to bring balance to Eldoria, and with her 4 hands, she would shape the fate of her world. Arya's powers grew stronger and more pronounced as the years went by. The village of Lumina, with its close-knit community, was both fascinated and terrified by her abilities. Whispers followed Arya wherever she went, and while some villagers were in awe of her gifts, others viewed her with suspicion and fear. It wasn't long before the village elders called a meeting to discuss Arya. Her parents attended, their faces set with determination and worry. The meeting hall buzzed with heated discussions, the air thick with tension. "She's a danger to us all," cried one villager. "No one should have that much power." "She's just a child," countered another. "She needs our support, not our fear." Elena stood up, her voice steady but filled with emotion. Arya is our daughter. She has done nothing but help this village. She healed little James when he fell from the tree, and she brought rain during the drought. She is not a danger." The room fell silent as Elder Rowan, the oldest and most respected member of the community, rose to speak. His eyes, though clouded with age, held a deep wisdom. "The prophecy speaks of a child with 4 hands who will bring balance to Eldoria. We must not forget that. Arya's presence here is significant. We must guide her, not shun her." Despite Elder Rowan's wise words, the fear in the village was palpable. Arya, sensing the unease, often retreated to the enchanted forest with Theo. There, among the ancient trees and mystical creatures, she felt a sense of belonging. One afternoon, as the siblings played by a crystal-clear stream, Arya confided in Theo. "Sometimes I wish I were just like everyone else," she said, her voice tinged with sadness. "I don't want people to be afraid of me." Theo, always the optimist, smiled brightly. "You're special, Arya. You're meant for great things. Remember what Seraphina said, you have a destiny." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden rustling in the bushes. A moment later, Seraphina emerged, her robes glimmering in the dappled sunlight. "Arya," she called gently, "it's time for your lesson." As they walked deeper into the forest, Seraphina spoke of the dark forces rising in Eldoria. "There are those who would use their powers for evil," she warned. "You must be prepared to face them. Your magic is strong, but it must be tempered with wisdom and courage." Under Seraphina's guidance, Arya's training intensified. She learned to summon fire, control water, command the winds, and manipulate the earth. Each lesson brought new challenges, but Arya faced them with determination and resolve. Her bond with Seraphina grew stronger, and she found a mentor and a friend in the wise sorceress. One evening, as they sat by a campfire, Seraphina told Arya about her own journey. "I was not much older than you when I discovered my powers," she said, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames. "I, too, faced fear and mistrust. But I learned that true strength comes from within. You have a gift, Arya. Use it wisely." Arya's heart swelled with gratitude. "Thank you, Seraphina. I will do my best." Despite her progress, Arya couldn't shake the feeling of isolation. The villagers' fear was a constant shadow, and even with Theo's unwavering support, she longed for acceptance. One day, while practicing her spells near the village, Arya noticed a group of children playing nearby. She approached cautiously, hoping to join them. As she neared, one of the boys, Thomas, looked up and sneered. "Go away, freak. We don't want you here." Arya's heart sank, but before she could turn away, another voice rang out. "Leave her alone, Thomas." It was Lily, a girl with a kind heart and a fierce spirit. She stepped forward, her eyes blazing with defiance. "Arya is not a freak. She's special." Thomas scowled but didn't argue. The other children, sensing the tension, remained silent. Lily walked over to Arya and took her hand. "Come on," she said with a smile, "let's play." From that day on, Arya found a friend in Lily. The two girls became inseparable, and slowly, the village began to warm to Arya. The journey to acceptance was long and arduous, but with each act of kindness and bravery, Arya showed Lumina that she was not a threat, but a beacon of hope. As Arya's powers grew, so did the dark forces gathering in the shadows. The time would soon come when Arya would have to face them, and the fate of Eldoria would rest in her four hands. But for now, she found solace in the friendship and support of those who believed in her, and she continued her journey toward fulfilling the prophecy. Under Seraphina's watchful eye, Arya's powers blossomed. The enchanted forest became her training ground, where she learned to harness the elements, communicate with magical creatures, and refine her spellcasting abilities. Her four hands, once a source of ridicule and fear, became symbols of her unique potential. One crisp autumn morning, as Arya practiced summoning fire from her fingertips, Seraphina approached her with a serious expression. "Arya, there is something you must know," she began. "Your powers are extraordinary, but there are dark forces at work in Eldoria. They seek to harness magic for their own gain, and you may be the only one who can stop them." Arya felt a shiver run down her spine. "Who are they?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Seraphina's eyes darkened. "They are known as the Umbramancers. They wield shadow magic, corrupting everything they touch. Their leader, Morwen, is a powerful sorceress who will stop at nothing to control Eldoria." Arya clenched her fists, determination burning in her eyes. "What can I do?" "You must continue your training," Seraphina replied. "But more importantly, you must believe in yourself. Your four hands are not a curse. They are your greatest strength. Use them wisely." With renewed resolve, Arya threw herself into her training. Seraphina introduced her to other young magical beings, each with their own unique abilities. There was Eamon, a boy who could manipulate metal, and Lyra, a girl with the power to control plants. Together, they formed a bond of friendship and support, each learning from the other. As the weeks turned into months, Arya's confidence grew. She mastered the art of summoning fire, learned to control water with a flick of her wrist, and even managed to communicate with the ancient spirits of the forest. Her bond with Theo remained strong, and he often joined her and her friends on their adventures, offering encouragement and support. One day, while exploring a hidden glade deep in the forest, Arya and her friends stumbled upon an ancient stone tablet covered in runes. Seraphina examined it closely, her eyes widening in surprise. "This is a map," she said, tracing the runes with her finger. "It leads to a powerful relic that can amplify your powers, Arya, but it is hidden in the heart of the Darkwood, a place teeming with danger." Arya's heart raced with excitement and trepidation. "We have to find it," she declared. "If it can help us defeat the Umbramancers, we can't let it fall into their hands." Seraphina nodded, her expression grave. "But be careful, Arya. The Darkwood is treacherous, and the Umbramancers will stop at nothing to find the relic themselves." With Seraphina's guidance, Arya and her friends prepared for the perilous journey ahead. They gathered supplies, honed their skills, and set off toward the Darkwood. The forest grew darker and more foreboding with each step, the air thick with an unsettling energy. As they ventured deeper, they encountered various challenges: twisted vines that came to life, shadowy creatures that lurked in the darkness, and ancient traps set by those who had hidden the relic long ago. Each obstacle tested their resolve and teamwork, but Arya's leadership and determination kept them moving forward. One night, as they camped under the eerie glow of bioluminescent fungi, Eamon voiced what everyone was thinking. "What if we don't find the relic? What if we're not strong enough?" Arya looked around at her friends, her heart swelling with pride. "We are strong enough," she said firmly. "We've come this far because we believe in each other, and no matter what happens, we'll face it together." Her words bolstered their spirits, and the next morning they pressed on with renewed vigor. After days of navigating the treacherous terrain, they finally reached a clearing where the relic was hidden. The sight that met their eyes left them breathless. In the center of the clearing stood a pedestal, atop which rested a gleaming crystal orb. The air around it crackled with magical energy, and Arya could feel its power resonating within her. But as they approached, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Morwen, her eyes cold and calculating. "You're too late," she sneered. "The relic belongs to the Umbramances now." Arya stepped forward, her hands glowing with a brilliant light. "No, it belongs to those who will protect Eldoria," she said, her voice steady and unwavering. "And I won't let you take it." A fierce battle ensued, the clearing alight with bursts of magic. Arya and her friends fought valiantly, their powers combined in a dazzling display of strength and unity. Morwen was powerful, but Arya's determination and the support of her friends gave them the edge they needed. With a final, blinding burst of light, Arya channeled all her energy into the crystal orb. The relic pulsed with power, and Morwen let out a scream of frustration as she was forced to retreat into the shadows. Breathing heavily, Arya approached the orb and carefully lifted it from the pedestal. Its energy flowed into her, amplifying her powers and filling her with a sense of hope and purpose. As they made their way back to Lumina, victorious and more united than ever, Arya knew that their journey was far from over. The Umbramances was still a threat, and the final battle loomed on the horizon. But with the relic in her hands and the support of her friends, Arya felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. News of Arya and her friends' victory in the Darkwood spread quickly through Lumina, bringing a mix of relief and heightened awareness of the looming threat. The village had begun to see Arya not just as the girl with 4 hands, but as their protector, someone who might indeed fulfill the ancient prophecy. Despite this, a sense of foreboding hung over the village. The encounter with Morwen had shown that the Umbramances were real and their dark powers formidable. Elder Rowan called a village meeting to discuss the rising threat and the measures needed to protect Lumina. Arya, standing before the villagers with Seraphina and her friends by her side, spoke with conviction. "The Umbramances seek to plunge Eldoria into darkness. We cannot let them succeed. We must be vigilant and prepared." The villagers, though fearful, nodded in agreement. They began fortifying their defenses, setting up protective wards and training in basic combat skills. The once peaceful village was now a place of determined activity, united by a common goal. One evening, as Arya practiced her spells near the edge of the forest, a shadowy figure emerged from the trees. She recognized the dark cloak and the malevolent energy immediately. It was one of Morn's minions. "Arya," the figure hissed, "Morwen sends her regards. She wants you to know that your efforts are futile. Darkness will consume Eldoria." Arya's eyes blazed with anger and determination. "Tell Morwen that we will not be intimidated. We will fight to protect our home." The minion laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the forest. "We'll see about that," he sneered before vanishing into the shadows. Shaken but resolute, Arya returned to the village and informed Seraphina of the encounter. "They're trying to scare us," she said. "We can't let them." Seraphina placed a reassuring hand on Arya's shoulder. "Fear is their weapon, Arya, but courage and unity are ours. Remember that." As days turned into weeks, Arya's training intensified. She practiced tirelessly, honing her skills and preparing for the inevitable confrontation with the Umbramances. Her friends, too, trained alongside her, each determined to stand by her side in the fight against darkness. One night, while studying an ancient spellbook in her room, Arya was visited by a strange vision. She saw a vast, shadowy landscape, with twisted trees and dark clouds obscuring the sky. In the center stood a towering fortress, its black spires reaching toward the heavens. Arya knew instinctively that this was the Umbramance's stronghold. The vision shifted, showing her a hidden passage leading into the fortress, guarded by dark creatures. Arya woke with a start, her heart pounding. She knew what she had to do. She needed to infiltrate the fortress and confront Morwen directly. The next morning, she gathered her friends and shared her vision. "We have to strike at the heart of the Ambramancers," she said. "If we can take down Morwen, we can weaken their hold on Eldoria." Eamon, always pragmatic, nodded. "It's risky, but it might be our best chance." Lyra looked determined. "We'll go with you, Arya. We're in this together." Theo, who had been listening quietly, stepped forward. "I'll go too. I won't let you face this alone." Seraphina, though worried, saw the determination in their eyes. "Very well," she said, "but you must be careful. The Ambramancers are powerful and cunning. Trust in your abilities and in each other." With Seraphina's guidance, Arya and her friends prepared for the perilous journey. They packed supplies, studied defensive spells, and mapped out their route. The path to the fortress was fraught with danger, but their resolve was unshakable. On the day of their departure, the villagers gathered to see them off. Elder Rowan spoke words of encouragement, and Lily hugged Arya tightly. "Come back safe," she whispered. Arya nodded, her heart heavy but determined. "We will." As they set out toward the dark landscape of Arya's vision, the air grew colder and the sky darker. The journey was arduous, with treacherous terrain and lurking dangers. Yet, with each step, Arya felt a growing sense of purpose and unity with her friends. Finally, they reached the edge of the shadowy landscape. The fortress loomed in the distance, a dark silhouette against the stormy sky. Arya took a deep breath, her forehands glowing with magical energy. "This is it," she said. "Together, we will end this." The group approached the hidden passage, ready to face whatever awaited them inside. The dark creatures guarding the entrance were formidable, but Arya and her friends fought with unwavering courage and skill. Their combined powers overwhelmed the guards, allowing them to slip into the fortress undetected. Inside, the atmosphere was oppressive, filled with dark magic and the echoes of sinister whispers. They navigated the labyrinthine corridors, guided by Arya's vision and their determination. Finally, they reached the inner sanctum, where Morwen awaited them. The sorceress stood tall and imposing, her eyes burning with malice. "So you've come to challenge me," she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "Foolish children." Arya stepped forward, her hands crackling with energy. "We are not afraid of you, Morwen. Your reign of darkness ends here." A fierce battle ensued, the air filled with flashes of light and bursts of magic. Morn's power was immense, but Arya and her friends fought with a strength born of unity and purpose. Each of them played a crucial role, their combined efforts slowly wearing down Morn's defenses. With a final, desperate surge of power, Arya unleashed the full potential of the relic, channeling its energy through her forehands. The room was flooded with blinding light, and Morwen let out a scream of rage and pain as she was engulfed by the radiant energy. When the light faded, Morwen was gone, her dark magic dissipated. Arya and her friends stood victorious, their hearts filled with relief and triumph. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger for it. As they made their way back to Lumina, the sky began to clear, the oppressive darkness lifting. The villagers welcomed them with cheers and tears of joy, celebrating the heroes who had saved Eldoria. Arya, now recognized as the true bearer of the prophecy, felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had faced her fears, embraced her destiny, and, with the support of her friends, brought balance to her world. But she knew that their journey was far from over. The forces of darkness would always be a threat, and it was up to her and her friends to protect Eldoria and ensure its continued peace. After their victory against Morwen, Arya and her friends returned to Lumina as heroes. The village celebrated their triumph, but Arya knew that their work was far from over. The Umbramances was still a threat, and there were many challenges ahead. Under Seraphina's guidance, Arya and her friends continued their training. They spent hours each day honing their skills, learning new spells and practicing their combat techniques. Seraphina also emphasized the importance of wisdom and compassion, teaching them how to use their powers responsibly and for the greater good. Arya's bond with her friends grew stronger with each passing day. Eamon, with his ability to manipulate metal, created weapons and armor for their battles. Lyra, who could control plants, used her powers to heal and protect the group. Theo, although he had no magical abilities, proved to be an invaluable strategist and motivator. One evening, as they gathered around a campfire, Seraphina told them about the history of Eldoria and the origins of magic. Magic is a force of nature, she explained. It can be used for good or evil, depending on the intentions of the wielder. Your role is to ensure that it is used to protect and nurture our world. Arya listened intently, feeling a deep sense of responsibility. She knew that her fair hands and unique abilities were a gift, and she was determined to use them to protect Eldoria and its people. As the months went by, the group encountered various challenges. They fought off rogue magical creatures, thwarted attempts by the Umbramances to regain power, and helped villagers in need. Each challenge brought new lessons and strengthened their resolve. One day, while exploring a remote part of the enchanted forest, they came across an ancient, abandoned temple. Inside, they found inscriptions and artifacts that hinted at the existence of a powerful magical artifact known as the Crystal of Light. According to legend, the Crystal of Light had the power to banish darkness and restore balance to the world. Determined to find the crystal, Arya and her friends embarked on a new quest. They traveled across Eldoria, seeking clues and overcoming obstacles. Along the way, they encountered allies who joined their cause and provided valuable assistance. Their journey was not without hardships. They faced treacherous landscapes, dangerous creatures, and powerful enemies. But through it all, Arya's leadership and the group's unwavering support for each other saw them through. Finally, after months of searching, they discovered the location of the Crystal of Light. It was hidden deep within a cave, protected by powerful enchantments and guarded by a fierce dragon. Undeterred, Arya and her friends prepared for the final challenge. The battle with the dragon was intense and perilous. The dragon's fiery breath and formidable strength tested their skills and courage, but Arya, using her four hands to cast complex spells and coordinate their efforts, led the group to victory. They managed to subdue the dragon without killing it, earning its respect and gratitude. With the dragon's blessing, they retrieved the Crystal of Light from its hidden chamber. The moment Arya touched the crystal, she felt a surge of power and clarity. The crystal's energy flowed through her, amplifying her abilities and filling her with a sense of peace and purpose. Returning to Lumina with the Crystal of Light, Arya and her friends were greeted with joy and admiration. The villagers, now fully supportive of Arya, hailed her as their protector and savior. Elder Rowan gathered the villagers and spoke of the significance of their journey. The Crystal of Light is a symbol of hope and unity, he said. With it, we can ensure that darkness will never again threaten our land. Using the crystal, Arya and Seraphina performed a powerful ritual to strengthen the protective wards around Lumina and other villages in Eldoria. The crystal's energy spread throughout the land, bringing light and warmth to even the darkest corners. But their work was not done. The Umbramances, though weakened, was still a threat. Morn's followers, driven by their desire for power, continued to plot and scheme. Arya knew that they needed to remain vigilant and prepared for future challenges. As they continued their training and duties, Arya and her friends received a message from an unexpected source. A former Ambromancer, now seeking redemption, approached them with valuable information. He revealed that the Ambromancers were planning to unleash a powerful dark force that could plunge Eldoria into chaos. Determined to prevent this catastrophe, Arya and her friends set out to stop the Ambromancers once and for all. They infiltrated the enemy's stronghold, using their skills and teamwork to navigate through traps and confront enemies. In the heart of the stronghold, they faced the leader of the remaining Ambromancers, a powerful sorcerer named Vortigern. The battle was fierce and exhausting, but Arya's mastery of the Crystal of Light gave them the edge they needed. With a final, decisive blow, Arya used the crystal to banish Vortigern and his dark magic. The stronghold crumbled, and the Ambromancer's power was shattered. Eldoria was safe once again. As peace returned to Eldoria, Arya and her friends celebrated their victory. The villagers honored them with a grand feast, and their names became legend. But even in times of peace, challenges arose. One day, a close friend of Arya, someone she had trusted implicitly, revealed their true colors. This friend, driven by jealousy and a thirst for power, betrayed Arya and attempted to steal the Crystal of Light. The betrayal struck Arya deeply, shaking her trust and faith in others. The confrontation with the traitor was painful and intense. Arya's heart ached as she fought someone she had once considered a friend. In the end, the traitor was defeated, but the emotional scars remained. Seraphina comforted Arya, reminding her of the importance of trust and forgiveness. "Betrayal is a part of life," she said gently, "but it should not harden your heart. Learn from it and grow stronger." Arya took these words to heart. She realized that while the betrayal had hurt, it had also taught her valuable lessons about trust, loyalty, and resilience. She vowed to continue protecting Eldoria and its people, no matter the challenges. As the years passed, Arya and her friends continued to safeguard Eldoria. They faced numerous threats and challenges, always emerging victorious. But the greatest challenge came when the Ambromancers, now desperate and vengeful, launched a full-scale attack on Lumina. The siege of Lumina was a brutal and harrowing battle. The Ambromancers, using dark magic and summoned creatures, attacked the village with relentless fury. The villagers, now trained and prepared, fought back with courage and determination. Arya, at the forefront of the battle, used the Crystal of Light to shield the village and repel the attackers. Her hands wove intricate spells, creating barriers and launching powerful attacks. Her friends, each using their unique abilities, fought alongside her, their unity and strength unmatched. Despite their efforts, the battle took a heavy toll. Many were injured, and the village suffered significant damage. But Arya's leadership and the villagers' resilience ultimately turned the tide. With a final surge of energy, Arya unleashed the full power of the crystal, driving the Ambromancers back and breaking their siege. In the aftermath of the siege, Lumina began the arduous process of rebuilding. The villagers, though weary and wounded, found strength in their unity and determination. Arya and her friends, now recognized as true heroes, continued to protect and support their community. During this time, Arya discovered an ancient sanctuary hidden deep within the enchanted forest. The sanctuary, a place of great power and wisdom, became a refuge for those seeking guidance and healing. Arya, using the knowledge and resources of the sanctuary, helped the villagers recover and rebuild. The sanctuary also held ancient texts and artifacts, providing valuable insights into the history of Eldoria and the nature of magic. Arya and Seraphina spent countless hours studying these texts, uncovering secrets that would aid them in their ongoing battle against darkness. As Arya and her friends prepared for the final confrontation with the Ambramantas, they were joined by allies from across Eldoria. Wizards, warriors, and magical creatures united under Arya's leadership, forming a formidable force to combat the remaining darkness. The final battle took place at the heart of the Ambramantas' stronghold. The air crackled with energy as the forces of light and darkness clashed in a titanic struggle. Arya, wielding the crystal of light and using her 4 hands to cast powerful spells, led the charge. The battle was long and grueling, with losses on both sides, but Arya's determination and the unity of her allies proved unstoppable. With a final, decisive strike, Arya banished the leader of the Ambramantas and shattered their dark magic. Epilogue: A New Dawn. With the Ambramantas defeated and peace restored, Eldoria entered a new era of prosperity and harmony. The villagers of Lumina, inspired by Arya's courage and leadership, rebuilt their homes and forged a brighter future. Arya, now recognized as the true bearer of the prophecy, became a revered leader and protector of Eldoria. She continued to study and teach magic, guiding the next generation of magical beings and ensuring that the light of hope and unity would never fade. As she stood at the edge of the enchanted forest, watching the sun rise over the horizon, Arya felt a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. She had faced darkness, embraced her destiny, and, with the support of her friends and allies, brought lasting peace to her world. And so, the tale of Arya, the 4-handed sorceress, became a legend, a story of courage, friendship, and the power of light to overcome even the darkest of shadows. The moral of the 4-handed sorceress: Arya's quest is that true strength lies in embracing one's unique abilities and working together with others. It highlights the importance of courage, unity, and perseverance in the face of adversity. The story also teaches that trust and forgiveness are vital, even when faced with betrayal, and that hope and light can overcome darkness and fear. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak to the dreamers, the adventurers, and the lovers of stories, you who find solace in the pages of a book, who travel to distant lands with the turn of a page, and who see the world not just as it is, but as it could be. Stories are more than mere words on paper. They are the lifeblood of our imagination, the spark that ignites our creativity, and the bridge that connects us to the vast tapestry of human experience. Through stories, we can live 1,000 lives, face countless challenges, and discover the depth of our own courage and resilience. Take a moment to think about the heroes and heroines you've encountered in your favorite tales. They are often ordinary individuals, much like us, who are thrust into extraordinary circumstances. They face fear, doubt, and seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Yet, they persevere. They find strength in their uniqueness, courage in their vulnerability, and hope in the darkest of times. Consider Arya, the 4-handed sorceress, who embraced her differences and turned them into her greatest strength. She faced betrayal, danger, and overwhelming odds, but she never gave up. Her story teaches us that it is our unique qualities and our willingness to stand together that truly make us powerful. As story lovers, you possess a gift. You understand the power of narrative to transform lives, to inspire change, and to ignite passion. You see beyond the mundane and recognize the potential for greatness in every situation. Let this love of stories fuel your own journey. Embrace your quirks, your dreams, and your challenges. They are the threads that weave the tapestry of your own epic tale. Remember, every great story begins with a single step into the unknown. So, take that step. Write your own story with courage and conviction. Share your adventures, your triumphs, and your lessons with the world. For in doing so, you become the hero of your own narrative and inspire others to do the same. Let the stories you love be a beacon of hope and a source of strength. Allow them to remind you that no matter how daunting the journey may seem, you have within you the power to create a story worth telling. Keep reading, keep dreaming, and most importantly, keep living your story with passion and purpose. The world needs your story. The world needs you. Thank you.